what is the pericardium and how do we work with it, or why is it important in our Zen yoga practice? Now, in the energy system which underlies Zen yoga, the Chinese energy system, the pericardium is seen as like a guard or a soldier who's guarding the heart. And the heart is the emperor of our internal community of organs. Now, in our Western anatomical view, then actually the pericardium takes on a very similar role. So pericardium is a wrapping of fascia around the heart. Now, fascia, connective tissue, and connective tissue has the role of compartmentalizing and separating different things. Like this is a muscle, this is an organ, this is a bone, you know. So it's kind of like the wrapping around it, but it also connects. It's part of this intricate network of connective tissue which runs throughout the body. So it has a role of separating, but also connecting. Also, the pericardium is a bonded three-layered wrapping of fascia, of connective tissue. Now, the other internal organs typically have just two layers, the inside layer and the outside layer. But the pericardium has this extra layer, which makes it particularly strong and is functioning in a way of like protecting the heart from physical trauma. So the bumps and bangs that we might get around the chest area, the kind of injuries or kind of anything that might happen that might endanger the heart. So it is, in fact, some kind of protective bag around it, kind of soldier, right? But also, the fascia is a semiconductor. The way that the chemical structure of fascia works means it's semiconductor. Semiconductor conducts electricity under certain circumstances and then becomes an insulator under other circumstances, depending on the chemistry and the temperature and all sorts of stretch and all sorts of things. So this is important because the heart itself is one of the largest producers of electrical energy in the body. Like every time it beats, it pulses, it produces a strong electrical field, which you can detect by placing sensors on your skin, and we get the readout, of the heartbeats. But also you can detect that energy field outside of the body using very sensitive electromagnetic detectors. So it exists outside of the body and within the whole body, pervading the body, the way that the heart beats. And the heart is then surrounded by this layer of semiconducting material. So you could say that this pericardium is like the mediator of our heart energy, just like the soldiers are around a royal palace that decides, or the soldiers decides, is this person allowed in? Is this person trying to attack us? Is this person friendly? Can we just, can we open the gates or close the gates? So here we have this pericardium, which is functioning as a semiconductor, allowing electricity, energy to pass through, or certainly insulating it under certain circumstances. It's not a complete insulator. Of course, we're always able to detect the heart energy field, but are we allowing it fully out, or are we allowing other people's energy fully in? Okay, so we've got our own heart energy, and it's an energy field that's pervading the body and extending into the space around our body. But also everyone else has their own heart energy field, and an energy field doesn't have an edge, like an electromagnetic field does not have an edge. It sort of just pervades the space around us. So part of the function of the heart is then perhaps to resonate with other people's heart energy fields. We call it empathy, we call it attunement, or we call it resonance with other people's emotions and energy systems and heart energy. Now, we can have a very open heart. We can allow that to happen. Our heart energy field to pervade outwards and to be very resonant with other people's heart energy fields. And in certain circumstances, we absolutely would want that. We want to be able to be there for other people, feeling and being empathetic. There might be other circumstances where it's also important that we are a bit more guarded, where the soldier is standing more guard. Maybe we're around difficult people, challenging relationships, maybe toxic relationships. Maybe we're in an environment where we need to be a little bit more guarded. So it has a function and it's important. What can happen in life sometimes is certain experiences, traumas, injuries, events happen which cause us to have a tendency towards one or the other. My tendency was to guard my heart. My soldier was very much on guard all the time, making sure that no one gets in. And when I started to recognize it, I started to recognize what consequences it had for my life, right? So I was very struggling to make relationships and get close to other people and let myself get close to other people get close to me. So on the other side, I definitely met people where their heart is open all the time and they're kind of like very vulnerable, right, to certain people being manipulative or getting into relationships which are not so healthy, being so open all the time. So we need to have both. We need to use both ways in a wise, a discerning way, right? So are we guarding? Are we open? So then it becomes, well, what can we do in our yoga practice which is going to help us to find the appropriate use of our pericardium? How does our pericardium work? It's like a practice ground, and the person that we're mostly working with is ourselves, right? So I think in my yoga work, I want to be open with myself. I want to be present and attune with what's going on in my inside. So I could say to my pericardium, my soldier, hey, soldier, for this period of my yoga practice, how would it be to stand down? Would you be comfortable with that? Does it feel safe enough? Have we created an environment which feels safe enough for my pericardium to relax, to allow the electrical energy field of my heart to resonate outwards, and also to feel what's going on with the rest of my body, the whole community of my internal organs, my brain and my thoughts and my movements, and just to kind of really immerse myself or feel that 100%. But also, if you're in a class situation, is it okay to be open to other people's energy as well? And hopefully if the class is set up in such a way that feels safe, then we can be other people's movements, other people's feelings, other people's emotions, the teacher's feelings, movements and emotions. How can we be open to all of that and let it swill around and be felt? Sometimes we feel things that are very uncomfortable, but if we feel safe enough, that's okay. We can feel the discomfort. And only if we feel unsafe can that discomfort cause us to close in a bit. And then at the end of the class, we're getting up, we're going back out into our normal everyday world. Perhaps we do need to ask a pericardium. Perhaps you need to just stand up a little bit, be on guard, looking out, checking out as we go into the rest of our daily life. So that's the pericardium, and that's how it kind of features in our yoga practice as a mediator around the heart to allow our heart energy to expand out or be a bit more closed.